Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Coin Drop Podcast. We are on episode 41 tonight. Almost coming up on a full year. Been saying that for a few weeks now, but it's getting close.
Almost there.
Getting real close. Joining me once again, you know him, you love him. He knows the industry better than everybody. Not really, but knows the industry better than most. Tim, how you doing tonight?
Better than what the hell's his name? Pactor something?
Better than Tom something, right?
Tom.
Better
No,
than Tom.
I'm thinking that there's an analyst, something Pack, and he always made the worst fucking things, but for some reason his name was always out there. Something Pack. Whatever, doesn't matter.
Anyways, how you doing, Tim? What have you been up to this week, man?
I have been spreading fucking democracy is what I've been doing. Some damn evil bugs.
One bullet at a time.
Glorious. One bullet at a time.
Well, we'll get to help.
And, just so you know, bullets and democracy doesn't discriminate. If I shoot you as my teammate and you die, that's just the price of democracy, my friend.
Sure is. We'll get to Helldivers in a minute, but I'm really looking forward to playing that game someday, and I very badly want to just put my project on hold and pick it up, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. I spent today trying to diagnose why the fuck my new LED light wouldn't work on my motorcycle, and just reaffirmed everything that I hate about electrical in vehicles, so that was a pain in the ass.
You could just not be one of those tools that has lights on their vehicles.
I kind of need a rear brake light and turn signal.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you were talking about those extra ones.
No. The legal ones. That's what I need.
Legal ones, the required ones.
Yes, the ones I have to have. I bought a LED converter light because my tail light went out on my bike, my brake light. So yeah, it's an LED. It slots right into place. Supposed to wire up just the same, but the nice thing about it is it's an all-in-one. So it has a brake light, running light, and turn signal is built into one LED housing. So I went to install that, and for some reason, when it's wired up correctly, verified everything, the left turn signal is stuck on and doesn't work. Don't know fucking why. So I've just decided that it must be something. Yep.
It's stuck on but doesn't work.
Yeah, so all right, so when it's wired correctly, putting that in air quotes for our audio listeners, because I know you come here to talk about bikes, right? That's why people are here, to talk about motorcycles. So when it's wired correctly, my ambers, so like I said, it's all in one, so my ambers on the left side of the light are solid on, and when I go to flick the blinker, it doesn't do anything.
It doesn't, yeah.
But when I flick it to the
like you
right,
might have a relay?
when I flick it to the right, it works. It flashes, it turns on, it turns off, whatever, right? Here's the wild thing. I wire up the old lights, and it works the way it's supposed to. So it's no idea why, but when I wire up the old lights, it works fine. So I'm just like, fuck it, I'll rip out the front lights and replace those as well with LEDs, and hopefully maybe whatever the fuck is causing this weird shit with these old lights will just be fixed. So
yeah. Yay for troubleshooting electrical.
I fucking hate it. I would rather tear apart a Subaru Boxer engine and rebuild the shit from the ground up than try and troubleshoot electrical. I fucking hate electrical. I suck at it, man. I suck at it. So
that's why you got me, my friend. I'm the electrician here, remember?
Yeah, can you fly out here and work on my bike?
You can pay for it, and I'm sure I'll come out there.
That sounds expensive. I think I'll pass.
Electrician on retainer.
Awesome. So let's talk about some games. That's what we're here for, right?
Right, I think maybe.
I thought
there's a trailer. There's a trailer playing of a game that I have yet to watch this trailer on, so I'm trying not to look at it.
I thought this was a motorcycle podcast. Am I in the wrong place? I think I'm in the wrong place. So. That's okay.
Why is Mickey Mouse in the background?
Mickey, what? Fucking my background? What are you talking about?
Part of the trailer that I'm trying not to watch that I can't stop looking at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the Dawntail trailer. So for those of you who are on the audio side, we're talking about Final Fantasy XIV. Recently, I guess, got confirmed, because it was announced a while ago, got confirmed
that a few months back,
got confirmed it's coming to Xbox.
Yes.
But there's one big, really stupid shit about it, which is why it wasn't there in the first place. Tim, what's the dumbness? What's the dumbness Microsoft is dumb?
So Microsoft... Square Enix wanted to bring this game to Xbox when it launched way back on Xbox 360, but more or less Xbox said, if you want to come to our platform, you have to. We want your players to be required to have Xbox Live Gold, and Square Enix is like, no, that's dumb. They already have to pay to play the game. Why should they pay some other fee on top of our fee? No, that's dumb. And Microsoft stuck to their guns, and Square Enix said, guess it's not coming to your platform. Skip through the PlayStation 4 generation and come to modern. And Microsoft still wants that, and for some reason, Square Enix said, "Okay." The game is it's the most popular MMO, paid for MMO ever.
Yeah,
and they're not hurting for subscribers. And maybe I don't know. The only thing I can think of is I guess more platforms to play on means more potential customers, even though the Xbox is probably going away. I mean.
Yeah, it seems like a weird call now at this point, with as incredibly successful as the game has been. Feels strange.
So my best guess is because it wouldn't be a small task to bring this over to Xbox. It would be easier than, say, PlayStation 3 and 360 because those architectures were so massively different. But PS5 and Series X are so similar. It would be a relatively easy port. But they would still have had to have been working on this a while ago. Probably within the last couple of years is when they started it. Maybe 2+ years ago. And so they probably didn't know things are going to turn out the way they're about to, which we'll get more into when it comes to the Xbox side of things. And so it's probably just like a coincidence that they're bringing it at a time where it's probably going to have extremely little impact on their player base. They're not going to increase their player base on Xbox.
I mean,
at all.
They might, but
a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. maybe a fraction of a percentage increase.
Yeah, sure. They'll get 10 people playing on Xbox. It'd be wonderful numbers.
Look, man. That could be 10 more tanks for the DPSs who wait forever for dungeons.
That would be wonderful. They're Xbox players, so they're more likely to be tanks, right? I don't know. Weird logic.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not. If I had to guess, I couldn't actually.
Yeah.
But so the trailer on screens for the new upcoming expansion. Have they said when 14 is launching on Xbox? Is it already available?
No, there is no official date. I think it's summer, or it's supposed to launch with the Dawn Trail expansion.
Gotcha.
But the open beta actually starts on the 21st. So that's 11 days from now. So if you want to try, I would presume the open beta will be for subscribers. But if it's not, it'll be for free-to-play players as well. They'll just be able to play on Xbox.
Yeah.
I haven't really looked too deeply into how it's going to work on the Xbox side of things.
Refresh my memory, but 11 was on Xbox as well. They didn't require you to have Xbox Gold back then.
That is the only reason that Final Fantasy XI launched on Xbox 360 was because you were already paying for the game, so why pay more?
Why the fuck? Yeah, why the fuck did they go? I don't know.
Yeah, it was a really dumb call because they had already had one of the big games and then lost it. I don't know. It's such a strange thing, and then for Square Enix to capitulate on that's why I'm saying it's not going to get a lot of people on Xbox, especially because of what's happening with Xbox right now. Mm-hmm. But I think ultimately it's a good thing. This game should be everywhere, so more people can play it.
The only place I don't want it is on fucking mobile. That's it. Don't bring it to phones. Just don't do that.
At the same time, if your phone can support it, I guess I don't really see a problem with it.
I couldn't imagine trying to play Final Fantasy 14 on a fucking phone.
It'd be terrible. Yep. And so long as I don't know, maybe they have you can play it on your phones if your phone's powerful enough. Look at the new iPhone 15 or whatever the hell number it is. That can run Resident Evil 8 and various other games. So maybe if they had some requirement where you had to have some sort of external controller attached, that way you can play in console mode. Yeah, I can see that being the case.
Yeah, the iPhone 15 still not as powerful as the Asus ROG. So,
but still impressive for a cell phone. I got to give it credit.
Seems weird at this point for Apple to go from we're the professional company to let's play games. Seems weird. It's a weird shift.
They've been trying to break in for a while, but they're managing to get games. The weird thing to me with that really is that they're charging stupid prices for these games. $50 for
a cell phone. Well, We say that, but like I did also go on record on this podcast and say I would have rather paid $50 for Final Fantasy Ever Crisis to not be a gacha game and just been like a remake, like re-release of all of 7's ecosystem. So
old school stuff.
Like, dude, the new graphics are so fucking good. It's so disappointing how shit that game is. I'm so frustrated by it.
And we're off topic. Yep. We are on the topic of Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. They had a state of play this week on the 6th, and the demo launched on the same day. I have not played it, but I've seen a lot of commentary on it, and everyone's like, this is Game of the Generation contender material. Like, it's supposedly amazing.
It looks graphically beautiful, and I'm going to say I watched the state of play, and it totally 100% supports my personal fan theory on what's actually going on. 100%. And I'm like... There's a lot of people saying that they think it's a sequel to the original. The director or the creative directors, the team basically has come out and said that they're very happy to hear people drawing that. It makes them very happy. That tells me that we're wrong if you think that. Yeah. Because
100%.
They want you to believe that, which means that's the incorrect answer, which makes me believe even stronger that my idea is properly correct.
That's a strange fan theory, though, because it's retelling the storyline, sure, a little bit differently, but how is that a sequel? Other than our musings, me, you, and Mike, our musings of this being like essentially an alternate universe. Anyway.
So the idea of it being a sequel kind of also ties into my personal fan theory, because I'm going to give a little sneak peek. There's 3
By the way, sneak peek, but we're going to talk about this the week before the game launches in detail.
We will. Little sneak peek. In the remake universe, whatever you want to call it, there's 3 timelines at play. That's my theory. 3 timelines at play. Yep. Okay. Yep.
Leave it at that. Leave it at that.
Yep. We'll get into that. We'll get into that more next time. I think next week or the week after. Can't remember. I think it's next week. I can't remember. Anyways, let's talk some more about Xbox and how they're... I mean, I hesitate to say let's talk more about Xbox because I feel like we've fucking done this to death, man. Like, since Microsoft began the acquisition of Activision Blizzard, it's just been... I feel like 90% of our episodes have been Microsoft. I don't know what the actual metrics are, but I feel like we talk about them all the time.
We've nigh on mentioned them every episode. We haven't every episode, but every week there's something new to talk about. And this week, I honestly, Russ, before we started the episode, was like, we don't need to talk about this. And I'm like, but we do. And so I'm going to give you a very, very quick, this is what's happening.
Yeah, Cliff Notes it.
TLDR, we've been right this whole time. More or less. Microsoft is going third party, although I don't expect it to be full third party. They're not going to abandon Xbox, although they kind of they kind of seemingly are abandoning the Xbox name, because on their own websites, as well as GameStop and various other places, they've actually abandoned the Xbox part of the Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah,
so now it's
Microsoft.
either just Game Pass or it's Microsoft Game Pass. So that's a little strange, because Xbox is such a brand name that they could at least keep the brand name for with their stuff. But effectively last Sunday, rumors started flying around that Microsoft is bringing games, not just Hi-Fi Rush or just one game like Sea of Thieves or whatever, one of these games, but like a ton of them. And it like quickly became all of them, more or less. You know, the new Halo, Halo Infinite, Halo Master Chief Collection, and Microsoft Flight Simulator, and Gears of War, and Starfield, the new Indiana Jones, like all of it.
Elder Scrolls 6 in 2077.
I think it's the only game that wasn't mentioned.
Yeah,
but that's like in my mind. Yeah, right. That one in my mind is one of those, like, that's obviously going to go multi-platform. But basically, these rumors and musings and leaks have come from very prominent people within the industry. It's not just nobody's talking about it. It's everybody talking about it. Even the biggest Microsoft heads on Twitter are like, holy shit, this is happening. There's been job postings that seemingly confirm it, because they're saying they work on PlayStation. Although that doesn't necessarily mean anything because now that they own Activision, they've obviously had experience on PlayStation, and they're obviously working on at least, say, Call of Duty on PlayStation. So that's a little bit murky. But in any case,
that's also assuming that like there's anybody left at Activision Blizzard that isn't Microsoft because they're laying off another 1,900 people.
Yeah.
Which wow, the FTC is mad about that.
yeah, the FTC is very mad about that. But basically, what's going on here, all of these rumors, it's just the industry is in an absolute uproar. People, major influencers on Xbox have, interestingly enough, cried on camera with this kind of rumors and stuff. A lot of them have actually already dipped out on Xbox and sold it and gotten PlayStations, things of that sort. But the biggest indicator for me really is when Phil Spencer finally decided to say something on Twitter, he didn't deny anything.
Oh,
and
that's a surprise.
that is... Yeah, that's the number one indicator for me that this is true. Mm-hmm. Because every time in the past 15 to 20 years that I've been really, really focusing on the industry, every time something's not true, it's debunked. Someone will step in and say, no, that's not the case.
Really quickly, too. Like, within a week. Like,
very fast. Yeah. They will shut it down and say, nope, that's not the case. Unless it's true, then they'll either be silent on it entirely, or they'll say something like he did, where basically he said, hey, we hear you, we understand your concern, and we'll talk about it next week. And so it's like, well, he basically just confirmed it without saying, you're all right. Or, So with that said, the last thing I'm going to say is I expect it to be in one of two ways. It is either going to be, which this is the way I expect it to be, it is either going to be everything is going to launch on PlayStation and some of it on Switch, or even all of it on Switch too, for that matter. But there will be a timed exclusivity on Xbox for some games. Some games will be day and date on Switch and PlayStation, but a lot of them will be timed exclusive on Xbox for 6 months to a year or whatever. Game Pass game players will get it day one, of course, and they won't have to pay any extra for it, but PlayStation and Switch people will have to pay full price for their games. So not only will they get it late, but they'll have to pay full price late. And the other option would be they're going to do it in a limited fashion, which this is entirely possible, but given everything that I know about the industry and how Microsoft is doing, which is not good as far as numbers and subscriber counts and stuff, is the other option would be in a limited capacity where they're only going to bring certain games, like, say, the underperforming ones or the ones that we're already aware of, like I said earlier, Elder Scrolls, Doom, Call of Duty, those titles, Minecraft, etc. The ones that are already multi-platform, they're going to keep multi-platform, and they might include a couple other ones like Hi-Fi Rush and stuff. The ones that make sense because they're live service titles and stuff like Sea of Thieves.
Sure. But
the bigger titles, they would keep exclusive at least for a longer period of time, maybe for a couple of years before they considered PlayStation and Nintendo. But given they are failing to sell their Xbox because they've basically told people to not buy Xbox for the past several years, and that Game Pass subscriber counts have been stagnant for 2 years, Phil Spencer has said that if they don't hit a certain threshold of Game Pass subscribers, they might jump out of the game industry as a whole, which I think that was a bit hyperbolic, like even for him.
Yeah.
Tim Stewart straight up said that they're going to start making games for PlayStation, and then even though Phil Spencer was like, hold on a second, 2 days later or whatever, but everything points towards this being the case.
Yeah.
I'm calling it now, we're right, and again, I'm gonna stick with my first call where everything's going to come to PlayStation and Switch. It just might be a little bit delayed.
I think it's going to be a matter of time. I could see them doing kind of following kind of Sony's route for PC games, right? Like not everything Sony's making is coming to PC. I'm still waiting on Ghost of Tsushima. Come on. Fucking Bloodborne too, but Bloodborne doesn't matter to me as much as Ghost of Tsushima. But like, they're slowly getting there, right? Like I'm watching that like Final Fantasy VII remake or Rebirth is coming out literally this month, and I'm like, all right, 18 months for me. Let's start the clock now. Like it's guaranteed coming to PC. It's a matter of time. So like I imagine I imagine it'll be very much the same with Microsoft. I could definitely see them, because here's the thing too, right? Like they're definitely making at least one more generation of hardware, which is confirmed. So they're going to exist. My guess, that'll be their last physical system. And they'll be jumping out of physical systems in, again, as a guess, by 2030. By 2030,
Yep.
I think Xbox as a brand of console will be gone, which is fucking terrifying because once again, I've said this before, competition is good for the industry. If Sony is the only high-end console out there, if someone does not step in to fight Sony in this arena, they will dominate the market and determine your cost of your console. If they're the only console option for high-end gaming, you got PC, which is thousands of dollars, which leaves Sony room to go, yeah, our console's going to be $1,000 because building a gaming PC, you're going to pay $1,400 just for the GPU. So we can charge you $1,000. Like, that's the reality, man.
I do understand the concern, but I also don't believe that Sony would be so naive to do so.
I hope not.
Simply because if they did do that, it would be farther in the future, probably 15 plus years when there was no competition throughout the whole period of time, so long as nobody else steps in.
Yeah, I don't mean that's going to be next generation or whatever, but yeah.
Yeah, but I just don't see Sony being stupid enough to do that because they got to keep that goodwill that they have with players by having quality titles along with quality hardware that's supported and understandably it's not as good as PC, assuming you have the ability to have a high-end PC,
right?
But they have to find some way to keep players from going, well, why not just spend another $300 and build a really nice PC that's better than your box?
Other than,
and I have what you make for PC, as well as whatever comes to my PC that doesn't come to your platform. So they would obviously have to have some sort of threshold, an intelligence level of threshold of saying, well, we have to be cheap enough for people not to just jump ship and go PC.
I think the barrier to entry to building a PC or knowing what you need to buy if you're going to go buy a pre-bought will work in Sony's favor in that point. But there's one thing about Sony that will keep them, in my eyes, is the most likely reason that they won't go that route. They are not an American company. And late-stage capitalism in America is the worst fucking thing in the world because all anybody wants is all the fucking pie. It's no longer about getting a bigger slice. It's about having all of it. And if they were an American company, I would be telling everybody to jump ship when Microsoft leaves because their prices will go through the fucking roof because they've got no competition. But the one thing that I think might be the saving grace is that they are not an American company. I think the Japanese hold true to their, they've got a history of honor. That's a big part of who they are as a culture. So, I feel like that translates to, honor your values and things like that. And in this case, I think that's not overcharging the way they did with the PS3 era. So, fingers crossed.
Yep.
Fingers crossed.
I actually don't know if anywhere in Japan has one of these, but there's these places in the world called Blue Zones, I believe. And basically, it's this is an incorrect way of stating it, but this is the best way I can think of stating it. When I say old school values, I mean old school values of not being late stage capitalism. Basically, these companies or whoever it is that exists, this society that exists in these blue zones is we want to thrive. We don't necessarily have to, be the best all the time. If we're making enough money to survive, wonderful. I can keep my business open. I can continue to support those around me. I can continue to serve those around me. And not struggle or whatever.
Right.
And that's it. They don't have to do better than last year every single year to where they're like, oh no, we made $10,000 extra this year instead of $20,000.
Yeah.
We failed, so I'm going to shut down and fire everybody. Like seemingly happens and is happening in the industry right now.
In every industry.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Hell, when you mentioned earlier, Microsoft fired 1,900 Activision employees, immediately, the next day, it came out what their profits were, and they were 60% in the positive.
Yeah.
Not all the metrics were that high because there's obviously a whole bunch of metric numbers, but everything was positive, and they're like, we're doing so well, but sucks to be the little guy.
Yeah.
Fired a whole bunch of people.
It's honestly kind of disgusting. It really infuriates me, but that's a whole nother side tangent we don't need to get into. Microsoft is definitely going third party. We've said it enough. It's pretty clear now. If you're not seeing it, you're either blind or you're just delusional. I'm sorry to tell you that, but here's your wake-up call. Be mad at me if you want. Call me an asshole, but sometimes the truth hurts.
Let me put something into not perspective. Let me give a promise. If this week, when Phil Spencer and the company makes their announcement, because it's going to be this next week, if they make the announcement and we're wrong and they're not doing anything multi-platform whatsoever, we'll admit it and maybe we'll talk about it a little bit. If we're right, we're just going to go, fucking told you so, and move on.
I'm just, yeah. We'll just put "Told You So" on the background and then like pull it up for a second and just be like, all right, moving on. Like right
next
now,
title.
we're moving on.
Yeah.
Let's talk about democracy.
Democracy.
So Tim, you got some time to play the game. I heavily debated setting my project down and picking this game up last night and going hard. And I am trying to stay strong and just focus on what I'm working on and just ignore one of the best looking, most fun third-person co-op shooters I've seen in a long time. So tell me about it.
Just indulge a little bit and play every so often. Join me in spreading sweet liberty to the galaxy, okay?
I want to. I really want to. Chris was trying to get me to buy it too. He's like, so you're taking a break, right? And I'm like, no.
So everything about these trailers is the game.
Yeah.
Like there's no lack of it in the game. It's just like pure, unadulterated, ridiculous fun. Even if you're playing by yourself, it's not as fun if you're playing by yourself because you don't have others to play along with you and all the ridiculousness going on. But
like most co-op games.
Exactly. It's definitely better played with friends or even just randoms. And that is the one negative about the game right now is the matchmaking isn't super great, and that's only because they have way more people playing it than they were expecting. This is the #1 launching game on Steam for PlayStation by double. The next best game is God of War at 70,000 concurrent players at their highest peak, and this game continues to pass that. Every time I look at it, they're higher than they were before. When I last looked, they were at 147,000 concurrent players, and that was the highest number they'd ever hit. And it's like I said, it's only climbing. I can only imagine what it's like on PlayStation. There's got to be more people playing on PlayStation, and so I would imagine because it's a $40 budget game, that's probably part of the reason. That it's one of the best. But it's also just fucking fun. I mean,
the first one was too, so I'm glad to hear the second one is right on par with it.
Yeah, so the way the system is built is you've got these stratagems. They're your essentially your heavy weapons and the Hammer of Dawns and all these airstrikes and stuff that come in that help you out while you're playing. The game starts off in very easy, like it's the only way you can play the game. Once you've beat a mission, easy mode unlocks. And then once you beat an easy mission, medium unlocks, and et cetera and so on.
Gotcha.
But as you play more missions, like you're going to start in very easy, you're going to play a mission or two, then you're going to instantly move over to easy, and you go, okay, cool. And then easy, you're going to realize isn't all that easy. The game's actually really, really hard, especially by yourself. But the higher difficulty you get into, the more ridiculous enemies you see, and the more that spawn. And then they start spawning in all sorts of areas around you, so you really have to pay attention to what's going on. And then teamwork becomes just extremely, extremely important.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it's got this system in play where it's got a battle pass, but they're free. They don't actually cost real world money unless you want to put real world money into them. Sure. You can earn everything in game. It's all entirely free. But if you want a quick boost, spend some money on the battle pass. And this game has no PvP, so keep that in mind as well. It's all PvE. And one thing that I've noticed about the game is people are just enjoying it. There's lots of little hidden things. Like in this game, if you reload your mag before it's over, well, you just threw all that ammo out. So you really got to pay attention to your ammo count. They've got the ability to in game while you're playing, you can actually adjust the fire rate of your weapon or change the zoom rate or various other things about it. Turn on your flashlight or this or that. So it kind of like really allows you to customize how you play, as well as change it up on the fly. Let's see. What are some other really cool things? There's hidden things throughout the levels as you play them.
Hidden
the more
things
you do, so like, I don't know if there are other people that have played these missions because you're spreading democracy, right? And everyone's working together to do that. But people are actually literally working together. The world map or the galactic map in the game, you actually see percentages of the spread of democracy in that zone of the galactic map.
Cool.
And and you actually, it's literally like, let's say 70.012689 like literally like to like the 10 billionth whatever number. And so you can actually see it slowly spreading upwards, and they actually give you a time limit. It's like a week's long for the different sectors.
That's cool.
So I'm wondering what's going to happen when it comes time to them filling up the whole map.
Yeah.
But anyways, there's a whole bunch of missions on each world, and there's more missions per difficulty level as well, which again brings more monsters and all sorts of other stuff for different types of enemies and stuff. There's a whole bunch of different ways that you can upgrade your ship, which you actually get to name, by the way. I thought was pretty cool.
Awesome.
But as you upgrade your ship, it's going to give you bonuses on the field, and then you can get better airstrikes and all sorts of other stuff. And it's just so much fun. The what's the word I'm looking for? The difficulty, the challenge in the game is there, and you will like even the smallest enemies, the first ones you run into. If there's a couple of them on top of you, which they come up behind you or on your sides when you're paying attention to the enemies in front of you, they kill you quick. They can kill you really quick.
So it really is Starship Troopers to some extent. Like they'll hit you and you just get fucking impaled and done.
Yeah. I mean, they don't kill you instantly. The little ones don't, but the bigger ones will. And you got to be really careful. And I actually haven't run into any of the robotic enemies yet.
Gotcha.
But the cool thing is there's all sorts of ways to build your character that help you and your teammates out by, you can have respawn points, or you can have extra ammo, or you can, heal people. Like there's all sorts of really cool ways to help each other out. And it breeds co-op and people working together. It's very rare, in my experience so far, that people split up in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Because that's stupid.
Yeah.
You're going to die that way.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's just a fun game. It's $40 and it's cross-platform, which you can obviously turn on and off.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just enjoyable. It doesn't take itself seriously, and I think that lends credit to the game because they're just having fun with it. And
yeah.
So is everybody playing it. The community on Twitter. The community on Twitter has been like nothing but positive, minus very small select people, which tends to be seemingly Xbox players because they're usually pretty open about it.
The launch was rough from what I saw. They definitely struggled. I'm in their Discord, so I just kept seeing pop-ups from their CEO. Their point of technically their community manager was posting. Yeah, the community manager was posting what the CEO was telling her to post, like direct quotes from the guy, and like they were very open, which was really cool. It was good to see. Very clear communication from the top down, like, hey, we're seeing these issues, we're working on it, we've got a workaround for you, just try and join your friends directly, don't try and do matchmaking, we're seeing these issues, we're working as quick as we can. So their response was really good to it, but they did have some issues, and I'm very glad to hear that did not discourage people, that the players on PC and the players on PlayStation are still having a great time, and that the launch ultimately went great. I mean, I haven't seen any crazy updates lately, so I think they've got everything mostly ironed out, which is pretty good.
Which is really good when you consider it launched 4 days ago, and it's already in a really playable state. It's not perfect. You might find some disconnects or whatever. I've been disconnected a couple times from different matches, but the good thing is I don't lose progress. I don't get EXP from a character because there's a character level, but I do get medals and stuff. The stuff you get when you play the game,
right?
But it was mostly really just matchmaking, and they've managed to do a really good job ironing out that, even though it's not perfectly ironed out just yet.
Sure.
But they've said that the game's going to have constant updates, and everything's going to be free, new monsters, new weapons, new levels, like constantly new stuff, and it's always going to be free. And so that's really cool as well.
Well, I mean, I'm glad, what I felt like was a relatively niche title for the PS3 got a sequel. I got Helldivers 1, actually. I think it was during PlayStation Plus, when they began doing, like, the free games thing. It was one of, like, the early free games for PlayStation Plus. So I'm really glad to see that they literally took that format and just improved upon it in literally every way. I really hope I get time to play it soon, because I really desperately want to.
Yeah, just to put it into perspective, when the game launched 4 days ago, because of all of the connectivity issues, even though that was mostly on PC, the PS5 version was working pretty much for the most part since launch. It launched and it had something like 40 to 50,000 players right away, and the reviews for it were actually, if I'm not mistaken, they were in the 60s, the low 60s. Since then, they're actually currently at a 77% positive rating, which is really good considering where they were at before. Usually it doesn't climb so exponentially after the fact. And I mentioned the numbers earlier: 147,000 in game right now is 155 on.
Damn, big.
Steam.
Big.
Yeah, it's a really big launch. That's half of what Starfield was, and Starfield's made by a major developer.
Yeah, Arrowhead is definitely not that. So
No.
Good on them. I hope they really run with this success and move this game into something even crazier. I've got the utmost faith that they'll continue to support this game for a long time and make some great content for it. I mean, mechs are coming, right? Like they said that in the trailer. Mechs are coming sometime after launch, which is fucking awesome. Hell yeah, I want to play Titanfall, Mech Warrior, Helldivers. Like, that sounds great.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm definitely excited to see how the game evolves. It is essentially a live service title with live service light options as far as like pay for stuff.
Yeah.
But it's meant to be played long term by a lot of people. So I'm really excited to see how it expands.
Yeah, should be great. Should be great. All right, speaking of expansion and see what happens, Disney apparently bought stake, I guess. I wouldn't even say like a large stake. I think you did the math. We'll get to that. Disney bought a stake in Epic Games, which shouldn't really come as a surprise to anybody. I think months ago, God, I want to say in the 20s, we talked about Disney wanting to get back into game development. I can't remember if that was on the Patreon side or here on the free side, but we did discuss this idea that Disney was looking at buying a company. I think at the time we discussed it being EA. I don't remember what our theories were at the time, but regardless, I
think it was EA that we were
yeah.
thinking about.
I said Disney's kind of hemorrhaging money right now. Didn't seem like the right move. Turns out they've got a little bit more.
Are.
Yeah, they still are. They've got a little bit of money, though. Apparently 1.2 billion? 1.2?
Yeah, 1.2 billion.
1.2 billion of money they can just throw at Epic, which equated to, what, 6%?
Yeah, 6.6% of a stake in Epic Games.
Yeah. So, what does this mean moving forward, I guess, for Epic Games, right? Like, that's the big question.
Yeah, I mean, so it is a fairly large stake in a company for a single other company to own. It's not massive, don't get me wrong, but
Right.
From my understanding of when companies invest in other companies or take stakes in them, it's usually around this amount. Usually between a couple of percent up to about 10%, and that does make them a major player.
Right.
This one is less than 10, so we'll see. But I don't know if they plan on using Epic to make games for them. But when they made that announcement of wanting to get back into games, they initially, years back, when they originally they were having third parties make games for them. And then they said, screw that, we're going to do it all in-house. And then they tried that and it failed. And so recently they said, you know what, we want to do it again, but this time we're going to let other people do it for us. Other big companies that know what they're doing. Look at Ubisoft with the Star Wars Outlaws, which, by the way, was confirmed for this year. Just so you're.
God damn it! Of course it was.
I didn't think about you specifically for that one.
I picked a bad fucking year for my project, man. I picked a bad fucking year. So I've got a quote here. Let's actually talk about kind of what they're supposedly saying. So the chief executive officer, the CEO of Disney, Robert A. Iger, I'm assuming, maybe Leager.
Yeah.
Our exciting new relationship with Epic Games will bring together Disney's beloved brands and franchises with the hugely popular Fortnite in a transformational, Jesus, words are hard, transformational new games and entertainment universe. This marks Disney's biggest entry ever into the world of games and offers significant opportunities for growth and expansion. We can't wait for fans to experience the Disney stories and worlds they love in groundbreaking new ways. That kind of seems to suggest that they're looking at making Disney games.
Honestly, what I'm expecting out of this is it's going to be more of the way we saw the Lego Fortnite, where Lego Fortnite is kind of like Minecraft, but Lego, but in Fortnite, because Fortnite has that new creation engine thing that you can do in game. And so I have a feeling that it's probably going to be more of that.
Well, so they actually specifically call that out. So they say that now we're collaborating on something entirely new to build persistent open world and interoperable ecosystem that will bring together the Disney and Fortnite communities. Let's see, this is another guy here says, where was it? It was something about like allowing fans of Disney to create those stories. So like that sounds like one option, but I don't think that's going to be their main focus. I don't know, though. I mean, are we going to see, like... We've already seen Star Wars characters in Fortnite. So we've already seen Marvel characters in Fortnite. Like, Fortnite has all those things already. Like, be really weird to run around, as you said before the show, as Winnie the Pooh in Fortnite, but also wildly hilarious to see.
It would be hilarious.
Better yet, dude, let me play as Igor. That'll let me pick the game up. If I can play Fortnite as Igor, oh, dude, I'm in Fortnite.
I mean, speaking of four-legged animals doing weird things, did you see what Red was doing in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? Like,
that's actually in the original, though. I completely forgot about it. But like the graphics didn't show his actual face. He was just in a suit and it said Red 13. So like it's in the game. It just now you can actually see it and it's fucking hilarious. I love that.
Yes. Yeah, but back to Disney and Epic. Honestly, I'm not entirely sold on them making original games outside of the Fortnite ecosystem. Given how the way you worded it, they worded it was they're doing stuff to bring Fortnite and other communities together. So it sounds to me like they're trying to use Fortnite as that sort of like hub world or hub system where you can choose different games, easily go from one to the next. And I wouldn't be terribly surprised if they did make these games separate purchases or requiring a purchase. So sure, you'll still use the Fortnite launcher, but if you want to play whatever this other game is, you have to pay 20, 30, 60, whatever dollars for it. But you'll still launch it through Fortnite. But it'll also be, more than likely, it'll be some sort of, not necessarily live service, but kind of, like multiplayer game. So
there's
I don't know. It's an interesting thought to see these two companies come together.
Here's some more bits about Epic and Disney working together. Disney and Epic Games have engaged hundreds of millions of players throughout Fortnite content, iterations, integrations, season collaborations, in-game activations. Activations? That's what it says. And live events, including the Marvel Nexus War with Galactus, which drew 15.3 million concurrent players. So that's like an event I'm assuming they did in Fortnite. I don't know shit about Fortnite, but this is the interesting thing. So Unreal Engine is used to produce assets and content across the Disney portfolio, including in the development of video games like Kingdom Hearts 3, obviously, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, obviously. But it's also used at the park in the Smuggler's Run ride attraction, I guess, at Star Wars Galaxy Edge. So like they use Unreal in a lot of different ways. So
Unreal is not just a video game development engine. It does a lot for movies and stuff too.
Yeah. So it's I don't know, man. I'm hoping they'll do more with the franchises that I love, because Disney owns what I love now, bastards. They own Marvel, they own Star Wars, like those are the two franchises I care the most about. So I'm hoping this doesn't mean like, oh, if you want anything from Star Wars moving forward, it's going to be through Fortnite or through Epic.
Yeah, I would hope that wouldn't be the case.
Like, I don't...
So ultimately, I mean, mentioning Star Wars Outlaws and various other Disney properties, I have this feeling that this particular collaboration is going to be what I said, in the sense of it's going to be this other product within the Fortnite fold. But we're still going to see major titles like Outlaw made by other big developers like Ubisoft or maybe even Sony or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
As major, AAA games,
as long
not
as
connected to Fortnite.
Yeah, as long as that continues to be a thing and not everything runs through Epic and through Fortnite. And I don't have any problem with Epic, to be honest. It's actually kind of weird. I was just thinking about when I was throwing these scenes together for this. I'm like, man, you remember when Epic made like shooters? Like shooters, like graphic Unreal Tournament shooters. Like, you remember when did they make Quake?
We can say the same thing about Valve, my friend.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, when they become this conglomerate publisher, they stop making games themselves.
Yeah. Well, I mean, arguably, Epic made Unreal Championship or Unreal Tournament to like sell their engine. So arguably they've always been an engine company. They just used games to promote the sale of it. It's a whole thing. But like Fortnite being the way they went was unexpected. And Fortnite pivoting into what it is now, because again, I'm going to continue to say this because I feel like everybody's just forgotten. Fortnite was a tower defense game that was story based.
Originally, yes.
There was no battle royale or whatever the hell it is now. That was something that came out because of PUBG's success. Like, they pivoted hard and went down that BR route, which has been incredibly successful for them. But what a wild shift from, you know, what they intended to build to what they ended up with. So,
yep. And it's crazy too because they're so wildly different. And even Fortnite, when it launched, is so wildly different than what it is now. It's such a... I mean, it's synonymous with video games at this point.
Yeah.
If you don't know what Fortnite is, then you are absolutely clueless about video games. It's kind of like how, you know, you think about video games, you think about Mario or something like that. Fortnite is what you think about now.
Yeah.
Or Minecraft. Like, it's that big. It's
weird because, like, I've spent little to no time playing it, and I still can't wrap my head around real world events happening in it, because I know there's like the whole memes about like, do you want to go to a concert with me and see so and so? Yeah, it's in Fortnite, and it's like, well, but that actually happened. Like, there was a real world concert played in Fortnite, and I'm like, how the fuck? Like, what?
I mean, like I said, with that new creation engine where I forget what they call it, but it's such a weird name, like Fortnite or Unreal Engine in Fortnite or something like that, where you can actually create things, video games, experiences, whatever, inside Fortnite. And you can have people experience them as you develop them. And that's what they did for these concerts and stuff. And they've done quite a bit of real world stuff, but also mixing with lots of pop culture in various ways. And yeah, it's become one hell of an experience, even if I don't play it myself.
Yeah, and I'll give them credit, man. It looks a lot better in Unreal 5. When they pushed Fortnite to Unreal 5, it does look significantly better. I'll give them credit, but like, I still don't. They almost took like the Unreal Engine and gamified it in like RPG Maker form and made a game out of it in Fortnite for Unreal Engine. Like, it hurts my brain.
It's like RPG simulator. For Fortnite. Effectively.
Yeah. Because, like, there's the old, there's the old RPG Maker games, right? Which is just like a gamified version of making a game. And that's kind of what they did with their own engine with it's really weirdly meta, and I don't know.
Which is exactly the term that you need to use for this particular acquisition, is they're trying to make a meta
verse
hub for video. Yeah, metaverse. Exactly.
They're trying to make a metaverse.
I think they have the best chance of doing it. I mean, Apple said they wanted to do it.
Facebook's tried to do it.
Facebook tried and failed utterly. And they've already given up, if I'm not mistaken. And various other places have tried too. Ubisoft has, if I'm not mistaken, as well, also tried.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, just for your knowledge and anyone else's, the Assassin's Creed VR, Ubisoft said that it performed so poorly, they're not going to make VR for a while until it gets catches on bigger. I'm
really disappointed, dude. That game is so fucking fun. I cannot stress enough how fun Nexus is. I was real disappointed when I was scrolling and I saw that article. I was like, God damn it. I was so disappointed.
It could have been something special for sure.
Dude, it is something special. It is. Like, Assassin's Creed Nexus is something special, and I feel like it's going to be one of those cult classic hits that's going to go down in like 10 years from now. It's going to be one of those like pivotal VR games that people are going to call back to and be like, damn, this game really set the groundwork for where we're at now. Just like it did in the first place, right? It's just like the first Assassin's Creed. It's fucking pivotal, and it's disappointing.
All they had to do was bring it to PlayStation as well. The idiots.
Well, probably. It's VR is too niche not to release everything everywhere. That's just my stance. Everything should be everywhere because VR is too niche. It's just too niche.
I mean, like, I understand maybe releasing on one platform, like, and saying, hey, I'll do the next platform later after I release this. And then, maybe some cases it fails or whatever, and they don't have the means to do so. But like, intentionally saying, hey, I want to release this everywhere. Yeah. But I'm going to focus here first.
It definitely.
But for someone like Ubisoft not to is weird.
It definitely comes down to funding too. Like, how much funding did they get from Facebook? Like, did Facebook go to them and say, we want, an Assassin's Creed game, or did Ubisoft go, we want to build a VR Assassin's Creed? What happened first, right? So I guess that's the big question there, is if Mark Zuckerberg approached Ubisoft, I could see it. I can understand why it went that way, but if it was the other roundabout, I don't have any fucking clue why they would have chosen to make it exclusive. So it's disappointing, but it is what it is.
That's where my video game knowledge fails. I don't know all that stuff.
I mean, no one can expect you to know insider information. Like,
I was joking based on what you said. Well, I know more than anyone.
It's fair enough. You know more than most, is for sure. I think you're definitely on the pulse, and I'm lagging behind trying to keep up with you, but that's besides the point. I think that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. Tim, any final thoughts before we discuss kind of what we're doing over on Patreon?
No, not really.
Okay.
If you have a good PC or a PlayStation 5, definitely get Helldivers and let me know.
Yeah.
Let me know. I'm always playing my PlayStation. I've been streaming a lot lately on the CoinDrop games. I actually, so I've got my YouTube channel. I just recently figured out how to multicast, so I'm doing the CoinDrop side on Twitch and on YouTube now. So
you want to go ahead and plug your handle one more time?
It's CoinDrop Games on Twitter, or not Twitter, on Twitch, and then it's just I think it's CoinDrop's Tim, or Tim at CoinDrop. Tim at CoinDrop on YouTube.
Yep. And you can follow him there and watch him play, or fucking stream snipe him when he's playing a PvP game. Yeah, tonight over on Patreon, we've got a super top secret topic. I'm saying that because I have no idea what we're discussing. We're also talking about the next games coming up in the next week over there. So we're going through just kind of what's coming up and our thoughts on what's coming out. So thanks again for joining us over here. For those of you supporting us on Patreon, we'll be right back.